line between being too nice and being a pushover is actually a lot more close than you think. Which is why so many guys struggle with, am I being a nice guy? Am I too nice? Do I need to enter my villain arc? The thing about being a nice guy is that life will always hit you with reality. So if you're too nice, right, that's going to lead to you having experiences that aren't favorable to what you really want. Like life is going to show you that you're too nice. You're not going to get the girl, you're not going to be respected by other guys, you're going to have trouble saying no, you're going to be a people pleaser, you're going to have a lot of pent up frustrations deep down inside, and you're going to finish last in life. Again, not if you're nice, right? But if you're too nice, you're going to run the risk of being a pushover. But when you can kind of find that balance, that's when you become the best version of yourself. You know, when I was in middle school to, I would say like halfway through my high school years, but for those 4 to 5 years, I went through a lot of unrequited love, a lot of rejections, a lot of friend zone, you know, being a simp, you know, just a lot of learning lessons from being the nice guy. You know, I was friends with a lot of girls and I thought that was a good thing. I thought that game was just being really friendly, joking around, laughing and talking to girls all the time. And it wasn't until I started getting hard friend zone and rejected where I was like, oh, you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to just be available and super friendly all the time. You're supposed to be a bit distant and unavailable. Like you're a little bit too friendly, a little bit too warm. You're almost like a puppy. You're kind of like this happy-go-lucky corgi that's like always by their side. And that's how they're going to look at you. Like girls will want you around them, they'll love talking to you, they'll love your energy. It's like you need your puppy or corgi around when you're feeling sad to make you happy, right? But at the same time, girls don't want to have sex with this type of guy. Like they're not attracted to a puppy. Like they'll like you, right? They'll love being around you, but they won't find you attractive. And as a guy going through this whole nice guy phase, you're gonna slowly learn that sooner or later. You know, when I imagine the best version of myself, the archetype of guy that I want to be, I actually do imagine that guy to be very nice, very kind, very genuine, very warm. You know, I imagine that version of myself to be very compassionate, philanthropic to those in need, a guy that always opens doors for everyone and makes people feel safe. Like, you know, just a real gentleman. But at the same time, also having those dark characteristic traits. And this was something that I didn't understand when I was a lot younger. Like, I only thought it was the first part, you know, being nice, being friendly, being super warm. Like, I didn't realize that that was only half the equation. Where on the opposite end, you also have to be a guy that's mentally, physically, and spiritually competent. You know, a guy that can be confrontational when it's needed. A guy that has confidence that's been built off of competence. You know, a guy that's able to command respect and also not tolerate disrespect from anyone. And achieving this archetype of guy is actually very difficult, again, because there's a very fine line between being too nice and being a pushover. And of course includes improving yourself in all realms of life. Like you can't truly be confident or competent without actually accomplishing anything. The first sign that you're too nice is that you always find yourself being friends with girls but never anything more. If you ever got rejected or unrequited love from a friend, you always hear something along the lines of, you're a really good guy but you're just not my type. Or she gives some excuse where she prefaces it in a way where it's not you, it's them. Like, trust me bro, it's you. The funniest part is when they say that they're not looking for anything. Listen, if you're that guy, if you're Drake or whatever bot celebrity that she looks up to, all that not looking for anything right now goes right out the window. Like if you were a millionaire, in shape, lean, shredded, business owner, you got a personal brand or you're an athlete or whatever, right? You got a good personality, you're charming, successful, ambitious, everything that they would want out of a guy, right? If you're that guy, I'm sure she'll be open. Like girls will break their rules depending on how much they like a guy or how much value that guy brings. And of course there's outliers and exceptions, right? They're not a monolith. But for the most part, they can say that they're not looking for anything or they might even mean that, right? But there's always a part of them that keeps one eye open, just in case something good enough comes along the way that piques their interest. Or what's even funnier is when they say something like, you're too good for me. That one's hilarious. It's like, yeah, okay. I personally have never gotten that one, but I've known girls that have used that whenever I brought to their attention that this guy probably has feelings for them. I'm like, you know he likes you, right? Your guy friend? And she's like, he's too good for me, he can do better than me. And it's like, shut up. Like what woman has ever went, this guy has too much money, he's too successful, he's too hardworking, too charismatic, too charming, too funny, too great of a personality. Like it's more annoying that they think it's believable, if anything. And this tends to happen with a lot of guys that are too nice or in the friend zone, is that they get too comfortable with being friends with the girls around them. If you like a girl, right, there should always be that aspect of nervousness when they're around you. You know, like her heart should skip a beat. Like whenever you guys hang out, like that's where the attraction or arousal comes from. And being too nice takes that attraction and arousal away. When you come off too nice, that makes you too friendly, and there isn't that dangerous aspect of being a man that she truly desires. It's why they'll love you as a guy friend, but they'll never date you themselves. Like you're a nice guy, right? You're a good guy, but you don't spark her arousal. The second sign that you're too nice is that you're too agreeable. Being too nice is almost synonymous with being too nice of a guy, too nice of a person. And women don't like guys that are too agreeable. Like they need that pushback. And it's not like you're disagreeing just for the sake of being disagreeable, but because you're standing behind your own morals, beliefs, values, and principles. Like be opinionated. Tell her when she says something dumb. Like a lot of guys are afraid to do this because you're afraid to lose her, or you're scared of having a negative interaction and you're scared of her being mad at you. Not realizing that by never pushing back, by always agreeing, you're actually losing attraction in her eyes. Like there is an art to disagreeing with them, but also not ruining the vibes. It's all about your tonality and your delivery. And by the way, it's not even just girls. This applies to anything in life in general. Like you have to become someone that can stand behind your morals, your beliefs, your perspectives, your values. The biggest thing is getting rid of your fear of confrontation, because that's where being too agreeable comes from. And the way to fix this is actually by becoming physically capable. And you might wonder, what does physicality have anything to do with this? When you become physically competent, this gives you the confidence to stand behind what you say. Like you won't be afraid of confrontation if you're physically competent. And when you're not afraid of confrontation, you can speak your mind. And this is why a lot of people say crazy stuff online, is because there's no confrontation that needs to be had. It's kind of like this, right? Let's say you're walking with your girl at night, and you walk past a group of guys and they say something disrespectful. You would be a lot more confident saying something back if you were someone that was physically competent. If you were strong, in shape, trained in combat sports. But if you're weak, right, you might be a little bit hesitant to say something back. You know, you're kind of like, let's just walk away, babe. And then she loses attraction or respect for you. And again, the point isn't to go around thinking you're stronger or you can beat certain people up. Like that's insecurity, right? But physical competence makes you less fearful of confrontation as a man, which then translates to you being able to stand behind what you say. The third sign that you're too nice is that you always put other people's needs above your own, even if it's to a detriment where it negatively affects your life. And I used to definitely be this guy. Like I was the guy where if my girl best friend called me at like 11 p.m., 12 a.m. at night, I would always be there. And fun story, this actually happened in my junior year of high school. I remember she called me at like 11:30 at night on like a Thursday because she got into an argument with her family and she just needed to leave the house. And we live kind of close to each other, right? I remember she texted me saying she needed me and I was like, I'm there. And the craziest part was, it wasn't even because I liked her, because I had a girlfriend at the time. And she also had a boyfriend. And bro, when I tell you my girlfriend was blowing up my phone at the time, I had to turn off my phone, which to be honest was bad on my part. So I had to leave my girl on ice, I had to sneak out of the house. I was supposed to be studying for a test that I had the next day, just to be there for my girl best friend on a school night. And I ended up staying out with her for like 1 or 2 hours just talking, just trying to make her feel better. And again, there was no angle to this, we were both in relationships. I just never knew how to say no or to let people down. Like I didn't know how to prioritize myself. And I would try really hard to let people know that I would go out of my way for them. And man, did I deal with the consequences. My mom yelled at me for sneaking out. I got a C on the test the next day. My girlfriend was heated at me. I mean, rightfully so. But I would put myself in a lot of dumb situations just because I didn't know how to prioritize myself. Because I wanted to be nice or genuine or real. Like trust me, I know what it's like to be that guy, and this is why I can say with 100% certainty is that mentality and approach is 100% going to leave you finishing last in this race that we call life. You have to run your own race, even if it means being selfish and putting yourself first. The fourth indicator that you're too nice is that you always find yourself as the butt of every joke. You know, people get a little bit too comfortable with disrespecting you. And because you're too nice, you're too passive, they know that there isn't going to be a response. You're kind of the guy that's just going to take it, and sometimes you go along with it, sometimes you're self-deprecating. And that's because you don't respect yourself, so how are other people going to respect you? And it sounds harsh, but this was something that I needed to hear when I was a teenager. Do not sacrifice your self-respect at the cost of wanting to be nice. And what made me realize this was how standing up for myself would elicit a negative reaction from the people around me. Just because everyone was used to me being the unintimidating, friendly, nice guy. Whether it was friends, family, classmates, etc. And there was one specific moment that I remember that was kind of like a turning point for my mentality. So I used to play basketball at a nearby park with my friends every Friday and Saturday night. And for whatever reason, I was having a really bad week, right? So I was just looking forward to playing basketball. And one of the guys guarding me, I wasn't really friends with him, but he was in the friend group, right? There was one play where he was just a little bit too aggressive. If you guys play basketball, right, there's like certain plays where you can tell a guy's trying to be extra physical, where it's a little bit more than basketball. He kind of used his off arm to push off me to get a shot off in the post. So the next defensive possession, I set my feet really hard and pushed him back. And then he went right into my chest and kind of retaliated even harder. So he misses the shot and I box him out and I go up for the rebound. And when I went up for the rebound, he used his arm and shoved my lower back as I was midair going up for the rebound. And when I got the rebound, I came back down, I turned to him and I said, "Yo, if you want to fight, we can go right now." Those were my exact words, and I've never been that dead serious in my life, up until that point. Again, keep in mind, I am not that guy. I've never been in a fight before. This was high school, I was 15, but I was just seeing red. Like, this was definitely out of character from what people knew me as. Like, I'm supposed to be the friendly, nice guy, right? Like, what? Did Derek just say that? And I remember how awkward it got, and I was looking right at him. And everybody else was just radio silent. And he kind of just looked away. He didn't say anything, almost like he didn't hear me. So I was like, alright, he doesn't want to fight. And later that night, I was kind of reflecting on that moment. Like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I kind of ruined the vibes for the rest of the night. Like, the thought of fighting never crossed my mind up until that point. But at the same time, I was like, no, that was necessary. Because you can't just let people walk over you for the rest of your life. If you're not going to have your own back when it matters, then who is? And that was a real eye-opener for me. Like, it's good to be nice, right? It's good to be the guy that's fun, the guy that makes everyone laugh. You know, the guy with real positive energy in the group. But you gotta make sure to have your own back because the world is cutthroat and you will get stepped on if you're too nice. Whether it's socially, professionally, romantically, be out for yourself. Like, be nice but also command respect when it's necessary. Like, there's a lot of moments in life where I let people try me just a little bit too much. All because I didn't want to ruin the vibes or I identified with being the nice guy. Like, I was at a party once and I was the only one that didn't drink, right? Everyone else was drunk. And I was sitting on the couch and there was this white dude that I knew from high school. It was sophomore year of college and this was my first time seeing him in like 2 years. We weren't good friends or anything, but he was someone that I talked to that I was cool with in class. And he was pretty drunk, I'm not gonna lie. And he walked over to me and he was like, "Yo, it's been a long time, bro. Haven't seen you in a minute." He sat down and out of nowhere he slapped me in the face as hard as possible. Like, just out of nowhere. Like, hard enough to leave a red print on my face. And he kind of laughed and put his arm around me like everything was cool. And this was in front of girls too. And it's not like I just laughed it off, but I kind of just like grabbed his arm and I was like, "Yo, chill out, bro." But I didn't do anything about it. Again, keep in mind, I don't know him like that. He's not a friend. He was just someone that I knew and talked to every now and then in high school. But I just didn't want to ruin the vibe, so I kind of just let it slide. But it's like, bro, if that situation happened now, yeah, I'm knocking you out. If he was a friend, it would have been cool, but it's like, I didn't know him like that. The reality is that a guy that's too nice is looked at as prey. It's like, we don't think about this, right? But subconsciously, when you enter a room, you kind of size other guys up. Like, you think of guys that you can take in a fight. Like, oh, I could probably take him. That guy's probably around my level. He would probably beat the shit out of me. Like, subconsciously, guys kind of size each other up. Like, it sounds fucked up, but it's true. Like, that guy's kind of short. That guy's like a big ass Samoan dude. I should probably not mess with him. He's got that stocky build, so you know he has natural power. That's a bad matchup for you. Like, guys are always subconsciously sizing each other up. And the dynamic of those interactions are based on this kind of subconscious thinking. It's kind of like this, right? If John Jones walks in a room, then automatically he becomes the alpha of that room, for lack of a better term. And every guy subconsciously knows this, so you defer to his energy in the interaction. Or like the biggest guy in the gym that just benched 5 plates. And everyone's kind of like side-eyeing him or like recording him while he's doing his sets. Everyone kind of defers to his energy. It's not like you walk around thinking he can beat my ass, I can take him, he might give me some problems. Like, that's insecurity, right? But guys do size each other up subconsciously in every social interaction. And normally this dictates who controls the energy. The final sign that you're too nice is that you have a really hard time saying no. Even when you don't want to do whatever it is, when it's inconvenient to your life, when you don't have the energy or resources, especially if it's a girl you like. Now this one is one of the saddest indicators because people that are afraid of letting people down, unable to say no, those are the people that put other people first genuinely because they're a really nice person. Like, it's genuinely who they are as opposed to trying to get something out of it. And it's sad because this type of person will inevitably finish last, even though they're genuinely the most selfless. Whether it's trying to get the girl or trying to be successful in life. To put yourself first, you have to be okay with letting people down. And you actually do have to sacrifice being nice to a certain extent. Like, this is what people don't understand or what people don't say is that you actually do have to sacrifice kindness. At least when it comes to this type of person specifically. It's not really something you can like maintain. You actually do have to be a little bit meaner. Being selfish will never be seen as being nice, but being selfish is 100% required to achieving your goals to the fullest extent. You have to accept that you're going to lose familiarity and comfort in exchange for respect, and this is something that you need to do to become a man. Like, a lot of guys feel bad for prioritizing themselves and putting themselves first. But what you have to understand is that nobody is going to achieve your goals for you. Everybody is out for themselves. Like I said, the world is cutthroat, and most successful people have type A personalities. Like, the world does not respect a people pleaser, somebody that's afraid to say no, someone that doesn't stand up for themselves, a guy that's too available, a guy that's a doormat. And these are all traits or indicators that you're probably too nice. But you shouldn't actively think that, okay, now I have to be an asshole, because no one really likes an asshole, but that's why that balance is difficult. It's not like, okay, now I have to be mean, but you just have to be okay with being less nice. You just have to be okay with being less kind when it's necessary. When you start saying no, your life becomes exponentially better because you're putting yourself first. I mean, obviously put God first, but you get what I mean. Remember, it's all about finding that balance and making sure you're not too nice at the cost of yourself. That's where the cutoff is. And if that means being less kind, that's just something you have to accept, because it can be a really cold world and you gotta develop that edge. And to not only survive, but also to thrive, to achieve your goals, to live your life to the fullest. Anyways, this is kind of getting long. My voice is starting to hurt. I wish you nothing but the best, no matter where you are in life. I genuinely want you to achieve all your goals. Remember, put yourself first, even if that means being less kind, even if that means ruining someone's perception of you being nice. Anyways, hopefully you got something from that. Thank you for listening. I love you. I appreciate you. With that said, make sure you stay true, and I'll talk to you real soon. Peace.